Well, things have actually been surprisingly subdued here over the last few days, and that's largely because we are now in the cooling off period, which takes place just a couple of days before polling day. It means that the candidates can no longer be out on the campaign trail. We don't see the sort of big mass rallies that are a staple of Indonesian politics, and it gives voters an opportunity to mull over what they've heard from the candidates over the last few months. But on Wednesday, things will really ramp up again when Indonesians go to the polls, and it's a staggering election here. It's an incredible display of democracy on just one day. Some of the numbers are simply incredible, really. 205 million registered voters, and a high turnout is expected. 800,000 plus polling stations spread out across this country, which was made up of thousands of islands. And it's been fascinating reading some of the stories of how the ballot boxes and the voting papers have been transported to some of the more remote parts of Indonesia. And one news line out from today, we have heard that in central Java, because of flooding, a number of polling stations have been flooded. So in 10 villages in central Java, they will not be able to vote tomorrow. And more bad weather is forecast in the west of Java as well. So that is certainly one to keep an eye on.
Definitely. And you've been out speaking to voters. We heard from one of them there in your package speaking about the challenges of inflation and pay, keeping up with that. What are the other key issues that they'll be reflecting on ahead of the ballot?
Absolutely. Economic issues really are at the forefront of this for voters, or particularly the voters I have been speaking to. As I was mentioning in my report, the youth vote is incredibly important here in Indonesia, and youth unemployment is particularly high. Between 15 and 24-year-olds, the unemployment rate is currently around 20%. So a lot of people are concerned about job prospects, but particularly for younger people who are coming out of education. They're also thinking about candidates who can continue the outgoing President Joko Widodo's policy, which was all about infrastructure, gaining foreign investment and trying to grow the economy of Indonesia. And they want a president who can ensure that the cost of basic necessities remains low and can work to try and alleviate poverty, which is still a big problem here. And also some of the voters that I've been speaking to over the last few days, they are concerned about how they perceive that the outgoing president, Jokowi, is potentially trying to create a political dynasty for himself, given the fact that his son Gibran is running as vice president alongside Prabowo Subianto. They are concerned that he's trying to use that as a way to cling to power and maintain influence in Indonesia. So that's one thing that quite a lot of people have been talking to me about over the last few days.
All right, fascinating stuff. And I know you, Adam, and us here on TRT World will be keeping an eye on that over the next few days. Thank you.